Title reads, I had a threesome, should I tell him? So obviously this is from a girl's point of view. She says, I'm a woman in my late 20s and I recently reconnected with an ex I dated about 2 years ago when we were younger. I wonder who started off that reconnection because usually it's the guy. So if the woman breaks up with the guy usually comes groveling back, trying to win her attention, especially if he has no luck in the dating marketplace after she broke up with him. You know, you want what you can't have in some ways. But hey, maybe she messaged him, maybe she realized the grass isn't always greener. So they haven't spoken for 2 years and now they've rekindled. A lot can happen in those 2 years, that's for sure. He's also in his late 20s. Back then, we broke up because of long distance and inconsistent communication. But recently, we've been getting to know each other again in a slow and healthy way. Well, if you're dating someone and maybe you started off in the same area as each other, and one of you decides, you know what, I want to do long distance because I've got a new job opportunity or I want to experience something else, then obviously that person wasn't that into you. Because if you're crazy about someone, you want to be with them all the time. You either bring them with you to your new job or your new life, or you cancel those plans because you want to be with that person. So, whatever happened here, yeah, I just feel like at least one of you wasn't overly interested in the other person. Yeah, long distance, especially when at this age as well, you're quite young. You want to be spending time with each other all the time. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of long distance. Like 30-minute drive maximum. Because you want to come over for late night cuddles and go on spontaneous dates. You can't do that if you have to plan 2 weeks in advance your dates. Things have been going well and there's potential for something more. I wonder if they're still doing long distance. I hope they live a bit more closer together because you're just going to run into the same issues as you did before. About a month ago, before we started reconnecting, I had a one time threesome with two of my closest friends. Oh, they really sound like friends. Let's find out if it was two guys or a guy and a girl. Who I've known for about a decade. One male friend, about 30, and a female friend around my age. Lucky man. This guy's been planning that for a long time, becoming real close with these two girls for this moment. It was spontaneous and fun at the time, and it didn't create any romantic feelings between any of us. We all stayed friends afterwards, and the two of them actually began casually seeing each other. Oh, I bet that hurt this girl, knowing that that guy had sex with both of you, and he chose her over you. Maybe this girl really doesn't have any interest in this guy, but why would you have a threesome with someone if you weren't at least slightly romantically interested in that other person? Now, I wonder if this sexual experience made her feel guilty, made her long for her previous partner. Who knows? But I don't think, especially women, like to admit if a sexual experience has affected them or not. So she might say, "Yeah, it was fun, it was so freeing," but internally, it's eating her up inside and could have catastrophic effects later down the road. My ex was part of that same friendship group years ago before we broke up, so all four of us has recently been hanging out again. Oof. Yeah, you need to inform. I know he's not your boyfriend now, but you need to inform him because that's just not nice for him to be in that scenario. You three knowing what happened a month before. Yeah, that's you should feel guilty about that. You can't be keeping that type of secret away from him, especially if you did have feelings for him in the past and you spent those years together. But yeah, from a guy's point of view, this is why you don't get back with an ex. There's many reasons not to get back with an ex, such as, well, it didn't work before, why would it work now? Like, if you were meant to be together, it would have worked out the first time, in my opinion. But also from a guy's point of view, you don't know what your girl, I put that, obviously she's not your girl, but you don't know what she's been up to during that period when you two broke up with each other. Just like she doesn't know what you've been up to. But I think for guys, it affects them more thinking about what their girl has been up to sexually. So, yeah, for all you know, she's got up to some crazy things, such as a threesome with two close friends. You just can't go back to that, man. You can't go back to that. But this guy is, and he's going to get a bit of a shock of his life once she tells him what she's been up to. He has always been a bit sensitive about hearing details of my past relationships. So don't bring it up with him. I'm guessing this has been brought up before, like when they probably first started dating. Either he was asking too many questions or she was, gloating about all the great experiences she had in the past. Sometimes you just have to bury your head in the sand. And these conversations never turn out well. It makes people jealous, makes people feel disgusted. So yeah, I do think you should tell him, to be completely like honest with him, but at the same time, yeah, the repercussions are going to be pretty bad. I think will probably put up his walls and maybe leave this friendship group and maybe leave you once and for all. And he deserves to have that decision, which is why you should provide him with that information. I respect that, but now that we're spending time together as a group again, I feel strange knowing he's unaware of what happened between me and the other two friends a month before we reconnected. Yeah, this is pretty yucky, and it's making me think, why are you three planning on all meeting up together? Like, I think that it's not just a judge against your character, it's a judge against the other two's character, especially the guy. Like, the guy should be like, bro, I can't be doing this. Like, I can't be doing this to a fellow bro. Having this deep secret, which I know is going to absolutely crush him. But hey, when a guy's horny, he doesn't care about his previous male friends' feelings, do they? Final two paragraphs. At the same time, telling him about it could derail the progress we've been making, but you can't, especially if you want to be in a relationship, you can't live on a lie. Love cannot form when there's no trust, and it's going to eat away at you, and he's going to know something's up. And when the truth does come arise, maybe a year down the line, it's going to be 10 times worse than it is now. If you love him, you'll tell him. Otherwise, it comes across as very selfish that you're going against his trust just for your own benefit, really. Because, yeah, you feel guilty about it. But at the same time, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, you had this threesome before you two rekindled things. So you shouldn't have any guilt, but you should definitely have guilt if you carry on keeping away this information, because that's a form of a lie. Holding back information is a form of a lie. I don't think he'll take it well, even though it happened before we restarted anything. I'm torn between wanting to be honest and not wanting to create unnecessary drama. Well, for me, being honest is everything. Absolutely everything. That's the number one quality I look in a woman. And yeah, I'll be repulsed by this, and I wouldn't date someone who's had a threesome before. That's just my boundary. Everyone's allowed boundaries. That's just overcrossing the line for me. But I'd at least respect the girl for being open and honest about it. And that would be an attractive green flag quality for me. How would you handle this, and what's the most respectful approach going forward? All advice appreciated. Well, I'd say, look, hey mate, before this goes any further, I just want to be completely honest with you. Hold his hand, look into his eyes, tell him how much you appreciate him and how much you want to see a future with him, but be like, hey, this happened a month before we started rekindling things. I just want to let you know. I completely understand if you want to leave after this, blah, blah, blah. That's what you got to do. Will she do that? Probably not. Because from her point of view, yeah, I did nothing wrong because, it was before we met. She'll make up all these excuses, but you got to tell him. Otherwise, that lie is going to eat away at you. Yeah, it's crazy out there, guys. Don't get back with exes because it ended for a reason. And yeah, it's so many questions. You're going to have so many questions. There's going to be so many stories about the past that you don't know about. It's just messy. Anyway, that's all, guys. Cheers. See ya.